Okay, so today we're gonna do something a little bit different.
Okay.
We're looking at this excerpt called "Your Success Story Awaits,"
Okay.
and it's it's kind of like one of those motivational things you might find like online or
Well,
something.
yeah.
And at first I was like, oh boy, another one of these.
Right.
But
Sure.
there's actually some interesting things in here I think that are worth explaining.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting is that this little short piece really gets into some of those classic success ideas,
Okay.
especially that whole idea of like the power of belief.
Yeah, it's basically saying like picture your success, believe it's already happened and it will. Like
Right. Really.
is that kind of like manifesting or?
It's similar.
Yeah.
It's similar, but it's I think it goes a little bit deeper than that.
Okay.
It connects to that idea in psychology of self-efficacy.
Okay.
Which is, your belief in your own ability to actually achieve goals.
Hmm.
And it's not about like ignoring reality or anything like that. It's more about having the confidence to face, challenges and setbacks.
Okay.
You think about like an athlete who visualizes winning before the race even starts.
Right.
They're getting their mind ready for success.
So how can somebody, actually build that self-efficacy? Is it
Wait.
just, think positive thoughts and you'll get there?
Well, positive thinking definitely helps.
Okay.
But I think it's more about taking action and building up like a track record of these little wins.
Okay.
Every time you achieve a goal, even if it's a small goal,
Yeah.
it kind of reinforces your belief in yourself.
Right.
You could start with something super simple, like learning a new skill
Right.
or tackling a project that you've been putting off for a while.
Hmm.
Each success, helps build momentum.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting how they bring up this idea of bravery.
Uh-huh.
And the excerpt says that if you try something new, that puts you in the bravest 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
It's definitely a catchy statement. Yeah, and I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah.
I mean, stepping outside of your comfort zone, it always means there's going to be some risk involved.
Right.
And that takes courage to do that.
Sure.
You think about like entrepreneurs or artists or anyone who really challenges the way things are.
Right.
They're all taking these leaps of faith.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's about being totally fearless. It's
Right.
more about really looking at the risks,
Hmm.
figuring out the possible rewards,
Yeah.
and then making a smart decision.
Well, yeah, and it reminds me of that saying, the biggest risk is not taking any risk.
Exactly.
But it's also about, is this a risk worth taking?
Right. You have to choose.
Yeah.
You have to choose the right risks and recognize that like failure is going to be part of it.
Right.
The important thing is to learn from those times when things don't go right and adjust what you're doing. Like you mentioned entrepreneurs before.
Yeah.
They always talk about, embracing failure as a chance to learn something.
Yeah.
To get better at what they're doing.
That actually brings up another thing from the excerpt.
Okay.
The different ways that defining success,
Mm-hmm.
Starting a business, landing a new job, overcoming obstacles. Like,
Yeah.
success isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
Success is really personal.
Right.
And there's so many different sides to it.
Yeah.
It's not about living up to what other people expect. It's more about figuring out what your goals are based on your own values and what you want out of life.
Right.
What makes one person feel successful might not be the same for someone else.
So it's like, defining success on your own terms.
Exactly.
But how do you even do that?
Right.
When, like, everywhere you look, people are telling you what success is supposed to look like.
Yeah, you're right. It's tough. It
Yeah.
takes real effort to do that.
Okay.
You have to think about what's important to you, what you're passionate about,
Right.
what really matters.
Mhm.
And you got to tune out all that other noise.
Yeah.
Focus on your own path.
Right.
Maybe success for you is about being creative
Okay.
or making a difference where you live
Right.
or having financial freedom.
Mhm.
The main thing is you decide what it means for you.
It is easy to get caught up comparing yourself to other people.
Oh, yeah, especially these days.
Yeah.
Everyone's connected all the time. It's
Right.
hard not to. But comparing yourself to others can be a trap.
Right.
You got to remember everyone's journey is different.
Right.
The important thing is to focus on your own progress and celebrate your own wins.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
The last thing that really kind of jumped out at me was this idea that going after your dreams can actually help make society better as a whole.
Yeah,
It's a nice thought, but
it is.
is there really anything to that?
I think it's more than just a nice thought. I
Right.
mean, when people really tap into what they're capable of and they go after the things they're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
it often means they're doing something good for their community and for the world.
Okay.
Think about inventors, activists, artists, teachers.
Mm-hmm.
They all bring something important to the table.
Yeah.
Their work inspires people, it teaches people, it challenges people,
Right.
and in the end, it shapes the world around
So
it.
it's like this chain reaction of good things
And
happening. Each person's success story adding to the bigger picture of progress.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it shows how important it is to create places where people feel like they can actually chase their dreams.
Well, this has been a really fascinating look at these ideas about success.
It has.
We talked about the power of believing in yourself, the importance of defining success on your own terms,
Mm-hmm.
and the potential for our individual dreams to really make a positive impact.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I think it shows that even simple motivational messages can give us some valuable insights if we take the time to think about them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So here's something to think about as we wrap things up.
Okay.
If your success story was being written right now, what would the next chapter be?
That's a good question.
Yeah.